So this is where we enter the twilight zone. But it's a twilight zone, again, everything is a point of observation. A twilight zone to a mainstream journalist will be perfectly bloody logical with someone who's done 50 years or so, or 25 years, or how many years it is of research into something. This is an important point about perception. One of the greatest ways that humanity is controlled is by the suppression of the sense of the possible.
Hello, this is a video that I didn't think I would ever make about Canada. Canada is in a disaster, and that word disaster pales to what is actually going on in this country. And this disaster is created by the Liberal government of this country, by Justin Trudeau. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023 at 1:36 p.m. and I just saw a video by PIERRE, the leader of the Conservative Party, the official opposition of this country. And what he brought forth about the housing crisis is, I don't even have the words to say what the environment in this country is like. It's deplorable, beyond deplorable. I don't even have the words to describe what Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government has done to this country. So those that have not seen it, I'm going to play this in parts because I got comments to make about this video that I saw on YouTube by PIERRE. Let's go to to the beginning of it.
Avec le gros bon sens. Thank you very much, everyone. Now in English. I got some terrible news today. The average mortgage payment in Canada has now risen to $3,500. I had been saying that housing costs had doubled under Justin Trudeau. It's now far worse than that. The average mortgage payment has gone from $1,400 the day that Trudeau promised he would make housing affordable to $3,500. That's 2.5 times higher. This is the fastest increase in mortgage payment costs in the history of Canada, and by far. You know, we saw a defense lawyer come out the other day saying she's helped 3 clients who've asked to stay in prison longer than their sentence, rather than go face the housing hell Trudeau has caused out on our streets. But the truth is, and joking aside, for young people and the working class, the housing market, after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, is a prison. It's a prison of walls for 350 square foot apartments that cost $2,000 a month, or parents' basements where young adults of 35 years old live, never having a chance to start a family with their biological clocks running out. And I used to say that. You all said, oh, Poilievre's exaggerating. Now, 35-year-old living in mom's basement after 8 years of Trudeau is the least of our concerns. Now the worry is whether that 35-year-old and his mother are going to end up in a tent on a street where nurses and carpenters now live after 8 years of Trudeau. Let me ask you this. What happens in Canada in the next 2 years as people's mortgages roll over and their monthly bills go up by $2,000 or $3,000 a month? What happens? What happens when they can't pay? Where do they go? Our homeless shelters are already overflowing. Our refugees already live on the streets and under bridges. What do you think is going to happen when 10 or 100,000 families lose their homes? Where will they go? Where will they go? We will have the world talking about a humanitarian crisis, not in a developing country on the other side of the Atlantic, but right here in Canada. That is where this is heading. We have never seen it like this before. And we were supposed to have solutions out of this big housing retreat Trudeau held. What was the solution? More speeches, more photo ops, more puff pieces for his incompetent housing minister to go out and attack the very programs he was running 2 weeks ago. Nothing. Justin Trudeau, the vacation is over. You've doubled housing costs. We have young people living on the streets. It's time to recall the House so that we can get Canadians a home. Conservatives will put forward tangible solutions to the problems you have caused, Mr. Trudeau. To balance the budget and bring down interest rates on mortgages, to remove the massive bureaucracies you've built up so that housing construction can go ahead, to sell off thousands of acres of land and thousands of federal buildings to build, build, build. But we have to get back to work. Your vacation is over. Canadians can't wait, and they can no longer live under the disastrous housing market you have created, Mr. Trudeau. So let's get to work and bring it home. Thank you.
Will a Conservative government prohibit gender-affirming health care as a policy submission suggests in your upcoming convention?
Canadian says that you're making people angry. Do Canadians need help making people angry?
Wow. After the initial talk that Poilievre made there, the media in this country, holy, I am totally at a loss for words here. What the fuck is wrong with you people? You're worried about gender affirming care? And making people angry? over the hopelessness that this liberal government has made in this country? When are you liberal thinking people going to wake up and see the gender ideology has no business in school? Gender affirming care has no business to be brought to children. When are you going to understand that almost $3,500 mortgage payment is more important than shutting people down for speaking out against some of this liberal thinking that has destroyed this country and this continent and is on the way to destroying this world? It's hopelessness that the liberal government has brought to Canada. It's time for each and every one of us to wake up and fight for those things that matter.
Justin Trudeau is worried that people are angry. You know what I worry about? I worry about the nurse living in her van after 8 years of Trudeau. I worry about the tent cities that never existed before he was Prime Minister, but now we see every single city in Canada. I worry about the 30,000 families that have lost loved ones to drug overdoses because of the hopeless economy and situation in which they find themselves. You know what I found, interestingly? I hold these rallies, and I invite every single person at every single rally to come and shake my hand. People aren't angry. They are hurting, and they are desperate for someone who gives them hope. And for so many millions of people, I am humbled by the fact that I am that person. I am the only one giving them hope that things can get better.
So, controlling the sense of the possible, because if you're doing things out here and you've got the sense of the possible here, then when people like me say this is what's going on, that goes, you're bloody mad, that's not possible, that can't be going on. And the biggest problem is that, and it's not every one of them, by the way. I was talking to one the other day who was very kind of intelligent, involved in all this, but this in general is my experience after 25 years of the perception of the possible of a mainstream bloody journalist. And that's why people who speak the greater truth, and have done throughout the period of the media, have invariably been ridiculed and dismissed, because that cannot perceive that the possibility that it can be true.